All right, guys, we're back. It's weekly three banger time, and I'm super pumped going into this week. Why? Because I think we have bullish momentum. I think volatility has died, and after how the markets closed last week, I think there's nothing but upside in our immediate future. I do think we're going to get a pullback, but I'm going to walk you through the top three highest conviction plays going into this week, and we have three bonus bangers this week. Not two, but three. So stay tuned all the way to the end, and I'm going to walk you through the technical analysis on these opportunities, and I think we're all going to make a lot of money this week. But before we do, we got to recap last week. We went 5 for 5. We had some amazing picks. The first one was Bull. Intra-week, it had nearly an 11% move. It did close lower on the week, but again, the way we do these three bangers is we take the open price on Monday and then the high price during the week, because we're traders, right? So there's swing traders. These are multi-day trades. These could be hourly trades. These could be day trades, but it's up to you guys to determine when to sell them. So again, low price on the week, high price intra-week, and that's how we calculate the winners. So I encourage everyone to obviously know that going into the week, we're going to take those low prices, and it's up to you when to sell. But ultimately, we had 5 for 5. Again, Bull almost 11% last week. Incredible. Hut, nearly 6.5% at 6.38%. And the VIX, intra-week, that thing soared. We were up nearly 23% on the week. It did close lower on the week. So like I said, volatility this week, much lower. I think there's upside on a lot of names, and we're going to highlight the ones we think are best. So again, listen all the way to the end. That's how you're going to get these plays. And then finally, last week's bonus bangers went 2 for 2. So we rounded out the week with 5 winners. It was PDD for just over 7%. I actually think that continues into this week. And GDX had an awesome move for about 4.31%. So an incredible week. The week prior, we went 5 for 5. This week, we went 5 for 5. And like I said, going into this week, I'm pumped. And here's why. The first weekly banger, none other than Tesla. Ticker symbol TSLA. It looks incredible. This one, we were waiting for a move. We knew we had bullish structure. We were inside this larger pennant that obviously broke out. We had confirmation, but as we got to the top of that breakout on this confirming candle, we started seeing these wicks, right? And then we saw a daily close above the low. So we knew we were in for some type of consolidation. There was really no reason to really play this until it made its move. And boy, did it ever make its move on Friday. Look at that on this secondary pennant, which we were also in, which also is obviously a massive bull flag, right? You have a flagpole here, you have your bullish pennant right here, and then we got to the bottom of that, and boom, ignition up through the pennant, closed above the 9, decisively above the 20, and I think it's game on. Volume was high, RSI is now tuned up. I think this has plenty of room to run. Where could it go? Well, I think it's definitely going to probably hit 365. We might have a little stopping point at 357, which we want to clear. But I think this thing is in for not only a couple days of movement, but I think over the next couple weeks, this thing can go much higher. I believe the fib, the 618 fib, is sitting at about 480. Let's just do that real quick. Run that real quick. No, 380. So my mistake. So the 0.618 fib or golden pocket, however you want to look at that, is about 385 to about 395. So I think that's going to act as a magnet. I think we're definitely going there. Like I said, a couple stopping points along the way, but ultimately I could see it going there. Last week, if you were paying attention to option flow, Tesla had some massive sweeps at the 350 for not only September, but also a lot of October sweeps. So that it signifies, and I'm talking about millions, about $20 to $30 million in sweeps over the last week. So I think this one's going much higher. So that is banger number 1. The next highest conviction trade we have is Tempest AI, TEM. So this one has obviously broke out of its pennant, had its confirmation, had nice bullish volume candles. We had one rejection as we got to the top of the range. No surprise there, right at about 80, rejected. And then from there, we've had 3 days of bullish price action decisively above the 9 and the 20 SMA, where we had one bullish candle, 2 bullish candles. And then what I really liked about last week's close, so let me go to the weekly chart. You can see we closed above not only this area here, which was previous resistance, but also this one. And the reason, let's go back to the daily. You can see these levels right here. So we closed, now mind you, ever so slightly above it, but I like that it closed above it. I like that it rallied up to 85. So best case scenario for us is we get a gap down on the open. This would be incredible if we can get something kind of this level. Maybe it opens at 76, 78, 70, 79, anywhere in there. That would be a gift. I don't know that it's going to do that. It might open flat, but it may trade down, right? So we may trade down. Don't be surprised if you guys see it trade down to that 78 level, hold, and then go higher, right? So you'd be looking for something kind of like this. Maybe it opens the week here, and then we run higher. I was seeing 100 calls getting swept, so that is awesome for a long trade. So Tempest AI, the second banger I like going into the week. And the third was actually last week's banger. On the week, like I said, it actually opened here, went to there, so we made a nice little profit, but then we had to exit that trade as we saw that coming in. So then we actually sold down on the week. It created a second bear trap. Let me show you what I see here. So let's put another one of these on, because that, my friends, is another bear trap where we closed below this support line for the second time, did not confirm. We had to close below it ever so slightly. Then we had to move back up. And then on Friday, we held the 150-day and closed close to the highs, decisively above the 9 and the 20, back inside this bullish consolidation. So I expect price to move higher. We might get some type of retrace to open the week, but ultimately I see this going up to the 1750s and 19s. So I don't know if that 19 will come next week, but I like this for a move to the upside. So those are your top three bangers. As I mentioned, we have a couple bonus bangers. In fact, we have three. So let's jump right into those. We have DraftKings. And why do I like DraftKings? Well, chart is pretty self-explanatory. We have had this massive bull flag consolidation. Now we are in an upsloping or ascending parallel, right? You can see that here. You can see kind of like that. And we closed, kind of rejected it. So we may see, and this would be healthy, we'd like to see this actually, we may see something like this, guys, and if you do open the week, don't be scared, but I think we're going higher after this. So, and the reason I also say this is we're into a 7-day time count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 green days. You know, like I said, we might open flat and then pull back. But the pullback would be to this this previous top high. So I drew this on here because this has the most touch points. If you look far left, you establish that resistance line by virtue of that high pivot crossing through all these highs where it was always rejected. And here's the interesting thing, and this is the nuance, guys, of the charts that you definitely want to look at. So a couple of things here that I want to point out. The first thing is we were rejected, right? We came into it, closed above it, rejected. Came into it, rejected. Opened up, rejected. Then we came to the bottom of this and then rallied from it. So we were rejected on this move here. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. We were rejected on this move right here, where we had this this upper wick, came in, retested it, closed on it, then we closed above it, and then we have confirmation, guys. So that is a confirming move, not only above this this previous high by virtue of this candle on Friday, but we are also above the median line of the larger parallel that we've been in for the better part of a year, right? So you have this all inside this parallel, and now you have the median line that also just confirmed above it. So like I said, expect a quick little pullback on this one, and then I expect this one to go higher. So that's DraftKings. Also, guys, we're moving into football season. We're moving into sports season in general. So DraftKings, I mean, come on. This thing's going higher. It's going to have a ton of interest. You have these green accumulation candles. You can see volume was moving higher. And this one looks good. RSI is getting into oversold. So like I said, that pullback makes sense. But from there, it's going higher. Bonus banger number 2 is Rocket Lab. Ticker symbol is RKLB. What do I like about this one? Well, we're in a massive bull flag. This one looks sexy. We had consolidation. Look at all these lows here. Then we're coiling up. This one, in my opinion, especially with the IWM, propelling into almost to previous all-time high and massive accumulation and volume on Friday. The small caps are going to rally from here. We are at the top of this descending wedge, creating this bull flag. I think we may see a little consolidation, and then I see upside from here. Could it fall back into here? Sure. If it does, don't be scared. I think it's just more consolidation before a massive move higher. Hopefully we're not a week early on this. Never know, but this one looks good to the upside. And then lastly, how could we not pick Tom Lee's company, Bitmine Immersions, BMNR. We had this in a previous play. We have none other than a bull flag here, same kind of look. Let's draw this on. We just broke out of it on Friday. Let me shape the bottom of it. You can see that price action here. And yeah, this one looks good. Flagpole, bullish consolidation, held the 20-day. Ethereum's hot. If Ethereum moves to 5,000 or higher, this one's going to probably get and retest the 69 zone, possibly even break through it. I obviously would be a seller into strength just because I think ETH or Ethereum is going to pull back. Let me quickly just show you that chart and show you why. So we got the pullback we were looking for from here. Didn't move quite to the target, which was about 3,900. So that makes me think we are going to come back and retest that. We're having some bearish divergence, guys, so be mindful of this. We have the bearish divergence going on the RSI. So I think ETH is going to pop maybe to the $5,100, $5,200 level. And then from there, I think we are going to get our major retrace on this. I wouldn't be surprised to see it actually come back. I think we're going to probably do something like this, form a bear flag, and then ultimately test this 35. But this thing's super strong. Who knows? It might just come back to this zone and go higher. Maybe won't get down to that 3,500. That would be best case scenario for a very, very healthy pullback, which would also create an ABC correction there. So that's what we'd be looking for. But I'd venture to say, again, either one of these are possible. But definitely, I think once it cracks that 5,000, it hits that median line. I think you're going to see a large upper wick, and then I think we're going to see some back trace of that move. It's only healthy. We need that consolidation. I know others are even calling for a move down to that support right there, which would give us a really, really good correction. But who knows? We'll see where that takes us. But again, I like ETH to the upside. So to recap everything, guys, we got our first banger. It's Tesla. Second top pick is TEM, Tempest AI. Third is none other than Bull. We had it last week. It did good for us. And this week is, I think, the real move. Look where RSI is. This one's sexy. Then we got DraftKings going in the football season. Chart looks good. How could we not love this one? Rocket Labs, massive bull flag, testing the upper portion of that wedge. Let's freaking go. And then lastly, we got Bitmine Technologies, or Bitminer. And this one also in this nice consolidation pattern. Breaking out, holding, 69 is our target. Let's go, guys. I think we're going to have a profitable week. Hit that like button if you like what you saw in this week's Weekly 3-Banger. Tell us if you're making money on these plays. I know a lot of us are, so post it down below. Hit that like button, show some love. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And as always, these are always for educational purposes, no financial advice given, just to show you what we're doing with our own trading portfolio, and hope everyone makes a lot of money this week. Let's freaking go.